And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, it is time for a weighing in show with the man, the myth, the legend, Josh the Punk Thompson. You got so much to talk about because you were so wrong throughout all of this week of fights. You know what? It's okay. I was wrong too. So let's just get into it. There was ones that we looked at. We go, oh, he's going to do well in that. Oh no, nope, that did not happen. The PFL made me look horrible, and that's okay. The UFC, I looked all right. Bellator, I did all right except for the last one. I was wrong, and I was told so by the man that won it. I love that. Johnny Evelyn looked fantastic. Got to give it up for him. God damn, he looked good. Hey. How are you feeling? You were flying from Connecticut to Texas to Utah. Dude, do you understand what a direct flight is?
I don't. I was looking at a new place that I bought in Dallas, Texas, because I'm thinking about making a move out there. I've been talking about it for a while. Obviously, John knows. He always gives me a hard time that I'm not there yet. But I didn't find a place that I really loved this last year and a half, whatever. I bought a place there last year. It's doing really well in terms of it's gone up a lot in prices, it's rented, all those things. But I wanted to find something I really wanted to move into and the community that I wanted to be in and those types. So I found one, signed docs on Wednesday. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Congratulations, man.
Yep. So
that's awesome.
I may stay another couple months here in San Jose to finish up, wrapping up on some stuff with my gym, with my past gyms that I had. Close those all out. And I've got a couple other business things that I'm trying to get figured out to see if I can get involved in or not. And if not, then, and plus I'm working on some stuff right now too with Rich Chow and helping him with his Alta program. So he is actually on his way to moving as well. He's driving right now out to.
Oh, is he driving there right now?
Yeah, he's driving. So he's got his truck packed up and he's headed on out there. So he's out there. He'll start probably in the next couple days. He'll be there. So good for him. New life, new adventures.
He's going to enter Texas. Yeah, and keep driving and go, this never ends.
No, he's already broke it down. And people have told him too. It's about a day and a half to get to Texas. And then it's another day and a half from there to where he lives.
Oh, it's not. Who told him it was a day and a half to get to Texas? Look, if you're going to go, you go. That's what I tell my wife hates driving with me. Because once the car is in motion, it does not stop. You just go.
I understand this, but I think because he knows he'll probably never drive through those areas again, he's hitting the Grand Canyon. He's actually going to Area 51. He's going to Area 51. I said, "What are you going to see at Area 51?" He's like, "I want to see if the cars really do come out of nowhere and tell you to leave." He's like, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So yeah, he's got a couple spots he really wants to check out on the way, and I can see that. I mean, I think I would do the same thing. I think, except for me, I'd probably, because we were just talking about this off air, I would make the drive up through Utah and probably just come straight down that way. I know it's a lot longer of a drive.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, a lot longer. I think you're adding like another whole day and a half,
Yeah, you would be.
It's 15 hours just to get to Utah.
It's got Bryce, Zion, Moab for national parks. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, see.
Incredible.
I was just talking to you last week while we were in Connecticut for Bellator about how I wanted to check out. I've been to Salt Lake City, I don't know, 1,000 times, but never in Salt Lake City, just the airport.
You've been to the airport.
It's like I've been to the airport. That's it. And then they're doing a new remodeled airport, which is, I've just watched all the designs of it. They've been showing the 3D diagrams and all that stuff that are up. It looks like it's going to be amazing because right now the one they have now has low ceilings. It's not. You feel very claustrophobic, and it's extremely busy. It's like a hub for Delta and other, it's packed. It was packed. People were like, COVID? What COVID? What are you talking about? So, not a mask in sight, and everyone just rocking it.
I'm telling you, if you can do those national parks, Randy Couture and I used to do motorcycle rides every year, sometimes with more people, sometimes just with us, and we would hit each one riding bikes through them all, go to the Devil's Backbone, do all that. Unbelievably gorgeous areas. You see like, mountain sheep and rams and shit. You see bear, you see everything. It's awesome.
I gotta do that. It'd be a nice trip. All right. Well, hey, we had a lot going on this last weekend. There was the PFL, there was Bellator, there was UFC. But I kind of think we need to rattle this off in the order in which it came. We'll go with PFL first, I think, because just because. I think we just do that. They're both on Bellator and PFL were they were both on Friday night, and the UFC was on Saturday. But let's go ahead and rack off the PFL. Then we'll go Bellator. Then we'll go to the UFC. But let's have a conversation. This show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Big John, I had some bets this week while we were at the Mohegan Sun at MyBookie.ag. I was going through my phone, and I laid down some parlays, and it just took one to ruin them all for me. But I was so stoked about the whole parlay that I laid down. I was like, oh, this one for sure, this one for sure. Then one just came up short, and I had them in every single one of my parlays because it was supposed to be the guaranteed, came up short. But hey, the numbers were good. The figures were good. I loved what I was doing on MyBookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. They'll give you a little extra spending cash with your first initial buy-in. Also, there's a QR code right there that Podcast Dave will put up for you. And you just hit that QR code, use our promo code weighing in. And if you listen to some of our advice, okay, you probably won some money last week. If you didn't, hey, that's on you. There's always next time because there is a pay-per-view coming up soon. And go to MyBookie.ag. Use that promo code weighing in. Let's talk. So John and I were both wrong when talking about
I was wrong about this
Sheffield
one.
and Capoloza. I thought for sure Capoloza would bring it. I'm going to continue to go back to this though, John. Capoloza winning it last year, correct?
Yep.
The fact that he won it last year. Now, I get the vibe and the feeling that these fighters are like, look, it's a new page. I'm not the champ anymore because it is a tournament style. They're like, look, you're really not calling me the champ anymore. I mean, I really just get access to being like the main event or the co-main event or anything along those lines. But I'm not really the champ anymore. So there's no championship, title on the line. So whatever. So these guys have made their $1 million plus whatever their fight purses are or whatever it goes on with the way their contract states. Do you feel like sometimes they come unmotivated after they've won it a couple times or once or twice or whatever it is? Like the job's done.
It almost seems like it. I looked at this fight and like I had said, I'd watched, Matthias Scheffel fight. He's got power, but in watching both of them fight, I was just like, look, Capoloza is just the better stand-up fighter. They're both stand-up guys. He's usually faster, got good footwork. He counters well. He's in and out, does a lot of good things. Not in this fight comparatively. Yeah. Scheffel basically dominated the 2 rounds that he needed to win this fight. He did well. He was the aggressor. He landed the better shots, and he gets the win. And you look and you go, I don't know what happens with the motivation factor, and I don't know if it's, again, going back to I don't understand their playoff format as far as it makes no sense. And why I say it makes no sense is let's go to the next fight, which was, the co-main with Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis wins his first fight, gets 6 points. He loses by submission, and he's the number 1 person in the playoff rounds. How in the hell does the guy that just tapped him out not there in the playoff round?
Well, I think he'll end up being an alternate. So this also, I had a discussion.
But how's he not ahead of him? It doesn't make sense.
I also had
this stupid.
This is what happens though, John. Look, I'm going to go back to what we talked to last week. Open scoring. This is the problem. Anthony Pettis, maybe he didn't train as hard. He's a professional. I understand that.
I thought he was really going to come out and try to prove something with it, but
I thought because he looked so good in his last fight, he's going to carry it over. There's not a long break between these fights. Just keep the ball rolling. But this is the other problem that I have with like knowing where you're at and already understand that like an open scoring situation could lead to something like this. He really didn't look like after the first round that he was just sticking and moving. We talked about him sticking and moving, playing a conservative fight, and then you end up with losses. You end up not fighting your fight, and then you start, if you're not, I'm trying to word this the right way. When I try, because when I try, I'm not, it's not a negative thing. I'm not negative at all in this situation. When I try to go running, I have to run at my pace. If I don't run at my pace, I get more tired. I don't know what it is.
Hold on. And you're saying I have to run at my pace, be it someone I'm running with is running faster or someone I'm running with is running slower.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It still affects me in a bad way.
Yep. I need to run at my rhythm, whatever mine is, my breathing rhythm, my leg, my arms rhythm, whatever my rhythm is. I need to run at that rhythm, and that rhythm changes as you get in better shape. In this fight, he just seemed like he wasn't in his rhythm ever, and he was playing catch up, and then he wasn't like he was landing clean in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to do too much because then we could get into a dogfight, and then I could lose. It's like he knew he was already in the playoffs, so why take the chance? And then as his opponent started pressing the action and pushing more, he got stuck in this, I got to fight harder. And then it didn't work, and then he got taken down, and there was more stress, and you understand that that's not the way you fight. Fight your fight no matter what. No matter what.
Your rhythm.
Exactly. And open scoring and these type of things will ruin it. Open scoring and these type of things will not ruin the sport, but it could ruin fighters.
It could ruin some fights.
Yeah, it can. I think it's going to ruin more fights than we really believe. I think it's going to. It's like looking at the end. It's like looking at the end of an NFL season, right? When you already know your team's in.
You're in the playoffs.
15, 16, 17, whatever. It's like, okay, we just play our backups. Cool, they get some rounds. But you're not, now those games are irrelevant. They're irrelevant to whoever is, on that team. Like, oh, whatever. And so whoever's playing for their chance to get in, sure, maybe they got a better chance. Like this guy here, Ray. Like, he's got a good chance now, but because now he'll potentially be an alternate. Now, that's the other thing. I've talked to agents and managers as of recently. There is a really strange way that the PFL does their alternate. It's really just at their discretion. It's not like, oh, you submitted Anthony Pettis, you should be in, because now you have Clay Collard who may or may not be in. So now it's whoever they feel is the bigger name that can get in. Well, sure, Ray just beat Pettis, but also Collard's got to win over Pettis last year.
But you can't blame the PFL for that.
No, you can't.
That's called being smart.
But if you're a fighter and a manager, like that's a shitty situation to be in.
Sure.
And so their alternate bracket situation is, I think it should be a fight to get in, but it's not. It's kind of at their discretion on who they want in. So if I'm them, I'm thinking Clay Collard. He's got the bigger name because he's beaten Jeremy Stevens, he's beaten Pettis, he's got wins over, and he's an exciting fighter. Now I thought Ray was an exciting fighter as well. I thought he fought a good fight in this situation. Yeah. So I don't want to take anything away from him. I just think that the fact that Pettis already knew he was in, he didn't fight his fight, which I believe cost him the fight.
Could be exactly what it is.
Tell me I'm wrong, John. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm not going to say you're right. Look, very rarely.
Say it again. Tell me, John. I'm not
rarely
wrong.
will I say that you're wrong, even when you are, because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
That's a good friend.
But
that's an actual horrible friend.
That's a horrible friend. I tell you exactly how I feel.
Oh, I know.
I think you're right though. There's just something within that, and like you said, I thought that Anthony came out. He actually looked pretty good. He was moving well. He was, sticking his jab. He was hitting the right hand over the top. You look, you go, okay, he's doing it, and it almost seemed like, let me slow down. And as he slowed down, things started to just not be under his control. And when he tried to get it back, it just didn't happen for him. And just out of that flow, because the flow, being in the flow of the fight will come and go at times for you, but if you're the one that shuts it down, sometimes it's hard to get that thing coming back in the right direction. And I give it to Stevie Ray. Great fight, beautiful submission. Kind of almost like a twister crank from the
a reverse twister.
Yeah, but it was very well done. Set up, gets his figure four, cranks on him. Hey, you got to give him credit, man. He beat a good fighter with, and he submitted him. He got him to tap. So that was a very nice win.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I mean, I thought it was a very impressive submission, and I just started seeing the problems when Pettis started playing more defense and having to fight off of his back foot instead of taking the center of the cage and trying to push Ray around and just touching him every time he extended too much or made a mistake. He now then decided to fight off of it. And how many times have you seen in any promotion when fighters have to fight off their back foot, they're not the best fighters? There are some guys and females that can do it. Yes. There's very few that can fight off their back foot.
It's just not, because most of the time in the gym, in training, they're not being forced backwards. They're doing that forward motion. I don't care if it's mitts. I don't care if it's sparring. It's usually they're coming forward. That's where you get. That's why you need to get, your trainer. They've got to put pressure on you, and they've got, even when you're doing mitts, they need to put pressure and make you force you back and have you throw while you're moving back and cut the angles that you need to cut. It's all super important. I did think that Chris Wade looked really good, though.
Oh,
great job.
Very
Great
impressive.
job. Yeah.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I mean, it wasn't a very long fight, but I thought he looked really good. I thought he looked
came
very
out
good.
there. He
Against
looked sharp
Pacquiao.
right away.
Yeah. I thought he looked good. He is one of those guys that I think he'll continue to be in the finals.
Oh, he's going to.
So he's a very impressive fighter. He seems like he's getting better every year. I don't know how old he is. He seems like he still looks young, like a baby.
He's young.
He's probably like what, 31, 30?
I don't even think he's 34.
34.
Yeah.
34. He's young, John.
Yeah.
Woo.
Nah,
I was thinking
that's still
30,
young.
30. I was
That's
thinking
in his
30,
prime.
31. Yeah,
That's in his prime.
That's that tail end of the prime situation. He looked good. What other fights? I thought Bubba Jenkins looked fantastic.
Bubba Jenkins looked good.
Started to slow down a little bit, but
He always does.
Once he got to the
He always
takedown,
does.
though, in that third round, once he got the takedown, it was just straight dominance. Looked good, stayed busy, did some good stuff, But overall, I mean, I didn't get a chance to catch really the beginning portions of all these fights, but I mean, I started watching it, the Chris Wade
Did you see Lance Palmer's fight?
and Bubba. I did not.
Okay. Went back to his basics, went back to the, taking the fight into the positions where he's good, clinch, ground, and, did what he did, needed to do to get the win against a guy who really has got, a good style, good stand-up, good ground game in more eyes. Nice win for Lance Palmer coming back, though. He needed that win.
Yes, he did. Not a finish, though, correct? 3 rounds?
Oh, decision.
Decision. So I think he needed a finish to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So who knows? I mean, but here, former champ, he's won it twice, or he has won it twice. This is the alternative, the alternate bracket type situation. They could just choose him because of his name value, which they'd be smart to do, like you said.
That's smart.
Anything else on here? How did Lohan look?
He actually, like I said, Husik is good. He's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And, Brendan's tough. I thought it would be a tough fight. I thought Brendan would win it, but it went the distance. And, Brendan looked good, though.
I like him. He seems like a really nice kid. Seems like a really nice kid.
He's a good kid. He's a good fighter.
All right. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our PFL talk. Let's jump into the Bellator situation. Yeah, it was this was a situation where, I put my foot in my mouth. John, look, I want to make sure. Look, we sat up here, and I'm not gonna speak for you. I'm gonna speak for myself. I said that Johnny Eblen needed more fights. I would have liked to have seen him get 2, maybe 3 more fights before he fought.
You told Johnny that, when you talked to him too.
Yeah.
I said, I would like to see you get a couple more fights before you have this fight.
Yep. Look, guys, when I'm, especially with the Bellator guys, when I sit up here and I tell you guys, when I tell our fans and our listeners, like sometimes even our listener, Amanda, when I talk to her about it and I tell her, just listener. Okay. When I tell her,
that was
things,
a nice stick right there.
That was a little stick, little jab. She
nice
got me all show. You, her, even Stott started weighing in through Texas. And I was like, man, bro, you're like my fighter brethren. You're sticking me in the back too.
You're going over to the enemy.
Pull that knife out of my right there. Pull that knife out of my back. The way you just
that's
put
a long one too.
Jeez, man. I told Johnny, I said I would have liked to have seen him, have more fights. But then I got onto the broadcast and I said the same. I said this: these young fighters, and I look at a lot of the Dagestani guys. These young fighters that come from a wrestling background, they're used to these spotlights.
Yes,
they're used to wrestling in duels where it's just you and one other person and it's all dark in the crowd and all they can see is just their coach and their opponent. That's it. They're used to these type of situations. That was one of the best stories. One of the things that I remember the most about Daniel Cormier is this. I want to say it was his first fight. We were all in the back and he's bouncing around. He's yelling at himself, fucking go, DC. Let's go. You're going to be the champ. Fucking, you're the best. You're the best. He's telling himself this right as before he walks out. He's like, come on. let's go, DC. And he looks over at Bob Cook and he's like, Bob, don't worry, man. He's like, when it comes to this shit, I'm a fucking gamer. And I'm telling you guys right now, I get chills when I tell that story because the guy's a fucking gamer.
Fucking A.
The guy's a gamer. And he
shows up so many times.
He shows up on fucking fight night, you know, and it doesn't win or lose. Don't tell me he never showed up. He fucking showed up every single time. Oh, yeah. Doesn't matter. And I look at guys like Johnny Eblen and the credentials he has in terms of wrestling, the credentials he has now being undefeated, 12-0. Now he's the middleweight champ and he beat arguably one of the best, if not the best middleweight in the world. I don't know what to say. He did everything he was supposed to do. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Gegard looks slow. He's getting older. I'm not going to say those things. Johnny Eblen beat him. Doesn't matter how you cut it, John. He beat him.
Let's put it this way. I saw you having some Twitter battles with people. I love that. Okay.
I have fun with it.
And part of it was them talking about you saying that Gegard is one of the best, if not the best middleweights in the world. And, all the crap with it of how, this is why you have no idea what you're talking about. And for all those people, suck it. Okay. He's right. I'm just real easy. Johnny Eblen made that happen. It wasn't that Gegard was slow. Johnny Eblen made Gegard slow. I'm telling you that first round when he got put on his ass, yes, he got to the takedown. He was hurt, and he was hurt badly. And he never truly recovered in that fight based upon what Johnny Eblen did to him. Johnny hurt him and then continued to hurt him throughout the fight, took him completely out of his rhythm, took him completely out of his fight game plan, and just put a whooping on him. And it was one of the things that I tried to say at the beginning. It's what has made Gegard so good throughout his career is he really has not been damaged by many people. He got damaged in Bellator, if you're going to say. You say he got damaged by Shlemenko when Shlemenko landed one shot and broke his orbital. That's damage. He got damaged there. And, he had to fight a different fight because of it, but he won. He got damaged by Uriah Hall after he was dominating Uriah Hall and got hit by a spinning kick that knocked him down, and then he got finished. That was damage. He came back and beat Uriah Hall easily, but he got damaged by Uriah Hall. And there's been very few people that have damaged Gegard Mousasi throughout those 58 fights. Now it's going to be 59, but you can add Johnny Eblen to the list of people that damaged Gegard in a fight. He did it. He did it repeatedly, and that is why he was so impressive in the fight. Yeah.
There's nothing that I can say because I don't want to take away the fact that he came out at 11-0 record and just dismantled what Gegard was going to do. The jab, he was slipping off line and throwing. He was kicking. He was utilizing his wrestling at the right times and the right moments, and he didn't force the takedown so much to where he made himself tired, and he didn't start second guessing. Oh man, if I don't get this takedown, I can't win. He didn't do any of those things. He didn't do what a young fighter would normally do against someone who is dealing with a fighter who had almost 60 fights.
That's right.
He didn't do any of those things. He came in, and we saw him all week. He said it. We recognized it. He was so relaxed. Yep. Not a care in the world. He even said in some of his interviews, look, I'm not supposed to be here. He's like, I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not really supposed to be here. No one really thinks I'm going to win. He's like, and if I don't win, I just lost to someone who's got 60 fights. It's like, and I'll be back. Like, those are the type of mentality. That's the type of mentality you want from any fighter. But going in the week of the fight to say like, oh, like if I don't win, it's okay. I'm going to, that's not what you want to hear. But in reality,
no, you don't.
You kind of do want to hear it from someone is so relaxed because he's got an uphill battle and he understands what's at stake. But after that first round, I think he thought, I can't lose unless I fuck this up. He started looking faster on the feet. He was hitting Gegard with more than 2 and 3 shots. Gegard was throwing 1s and 2s. He was landing the 3 and the 4. And then after he would land, he would throw a kick or he would chain wrestle a little bit. And even if he didn't get it, he didn't care. He looked phenomenal. And I want to go back to the one when Gegard fought Lovato Jr. Gegard lost the first 2 rounds, but and he was losing half of the 3rd round. And then he reversed and got on top, and he beat the crap out of Lovato Jr. And I was waiting, John, for that moment in this fight all the way up until round 4, and I said, this ain't happening.
Ain't going to happen.
It ain't going to happen. And I look in the history of this sport. There's certain fighters, there's certain fights where this has happened. That like people look back, and I'm gonna use me as an example. When I fought Gilbert the first time, I was a 4-1 underdog in that fight, and I came out and just dominated every round. Then you look at Verdum versus Fedor, the fight that they fought in San Jose at the SAP. I think it was the HP then.
Yep.
That fight. He was a huge underdog, and he comes out there and subs him. In the history of when the underdog was so dominant and was able to get a finish over someone that was so highly touted, this ranks right up there with that. When I'm saying you're fighting someone with 11 fights, 12 fights now, fighting someone like Gegard Mousasi is insane.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you just have got to give it to Johnny Elbin. One of the things I want to put out there, and it kind of now is making it to where I cannot wait for this fight between Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira. That fight right there, Sean Strickland was the main training partner in his stand-up preparation for Gegard Mousasi for Johnny Eblen. Sean Strickland went out to ATT. He trained with him. I talked to a lot of the different people that were there that watched, and they talked about how things went and how they changed and who was winning stuff. But they said, look, one of the best things ever was Sean Strickland for Johnny Elbin, because not only did it help Johnny with body attacks, things like that Sean's always good at, a mentality also, it helped him realize, I can stand with anybody. Because Sean Strickland, what does he do to train? He spars.
That's it. That's all he does.
And from Sean Strickland said, hey, he made me better, so I cannot wait to watch how he does in his fight. I think it's an interesting story that both these guys feel like they've made each other better. Obviously Sean did make Johnny better and help him get a great win against Gegard Mousasi. We'll see if Johnny in any way helps Sean, but I think to find out.
I think for sure he did. Pereira's not going to shoot though. So it's going to be more of a stand-up battle in these situations. But in that being said, will Sean Strickland shoot a little bit because of a little bit of the timing and stuff that he worked with Johnny Eblen?
There you go.
And that whole thing started because apparently Johnny Eblen was out in Vegas a while back, and Johnny said, "Hey, I heard you're in." Strickland said, "Hey, I heard you're in town. Do you want to train together?" He's like, and then that was like my first or second day there. He's like, and then I trained with Sean the rest of the time. He's like, I didn't even train with anybody else. I just trained with Strickland. He's like, and then Strickland came out to ATT and helped me train out here. He's like, and I loved it. He's like, it was great. We pushed ourselves. We pushed each other. He's like, and we actually fed off of each other in terms of what we need to do to make sure that we're successful. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And those of you guys listening, it's John's rain there in Tennessee. It's a thunderstorm right now.
Coming down, baby.
In his tin can.
Oh,
Jeez.
man. I have a huge lightning storm going right now. Thunderstorm.
Geez. This is great.
First thing I want to say, Johnny Eblen came up after the fight and says, you didn't believe in me. I have believed in Johnny Eblen from the get-go. The first time he came into Bellator, like I said, I put it out in a tweet. Look, if someone would have said, who's the favorite? You got to give it. Gegard's the favorite. Did I ever say that Johnny Eblen had no chance? Absolutely not. He's a great fighter. He's a phenomenal wrestler. His hands have gotten better. But I will say he had the best performance I've ever seen him have. He looked fantastic.
Yep. I sat up there at the desk right after, and I said, he proved a lot of people wrong. I said, including me. Yeah. And it's not that I didn't, like you said, it's not that, look, there's not that
you don't believe in them. You're
just
just not sure that they're ready at that point.
And it's not just me. It's not just you. Look, there's a lot of people. Everybody was like, hey, this is a tough task. This is a really tough task. And there's nothing wrong with saying that because we understand what was ahead of him. Someone was almost 60 fights. That's a lot for someone who didn't have that, not even a fraction of that experience. But he came out so relaxed, so composed, and he deserves all the respect in the world because he looked phenomenal. So on to the next one, man. I really believe him and Tokov would be an outstanding fight.
Great.
Outstanding fight. And the other thing, everyone, I had some people, hey, Gegard deserves an automatic rematch. No,
he doesn't.
No. Not in that situation, and I respect Gegard. Him and I have been friends for a long time.
Definitely not coming off a 50-45 on all judges' scorecards, which is exactly what it should have been. It's got to be a close fight.
Oh yeah, I was it 50-45 or 50-44? I thought I heard 50-44s in there.
You might have had a 50-44 in there. I thought it was 50-45 on it.
I thought, yeah, I could see them moving right to Tokov if Tokov's available, and the Gegard situation. You just got to get a win, another one, and then figure it out.
Yep,
he'll be back. That's been the story of his career. Win, and then he loses one, and then he wins, and he loses one, and then I think that's a big reason why he doesn't get the publicity that he's deserved over all these years. So
forget it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Let's get
Danny
into the
Sabatello
bantamweight
versus Leandro Higo.
Yep.
Bantamweight tournament.
Grand Prix.
Danny Sabatello comes out. This is one of those fights when you take a look and you say, one guy has shown you that he is very proficient in one area of fighting. Danny Sabatello, his wrestling is good. He shoots from a long ways out, still gets in deep, turns the corner on his opponent very well, controls from the top position. One of the things that you had talked about earlier in this, before this fight happened was, look, you've trained with Higo. You know how good he is. He's strong. He's got a great hook sweep, all these things. He hit him with that hook sweep and changed position in the second round and had his back, wasn't able to finish him. And you saw him try that hook sweep every round after and never worked again. And this is where you look and you say, a guy like Danny Sabatello, you can catch him once, but he's going to learn from, I can't do that. I got you the next time. And that's what he did in this fight. He just outworked Higo the entire fight for the most part. The second round was definitely Leandro's. Other than that, he outworked him. He was smarter than him in the way he fought, as far as the crowd may not have liked it. It was super effective. And that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be effective in the fight. He was. He wasn't stalling. He was trying to do damage at times. He was making it to where Higo could not be offensive. Super effective.
Just when I thought this sport was running out of heels, okay, Danny Sabatello came along. Right then in that moment, he came along and he turned heel in one fight.
Yep.
In one fight. Sure, maybe he was a heel to his opponents, but he was kind of a fan favorite a little bit. Not in Connecticut anymore. If I'm Rafion Stotts, I'm like, I want to fight in Connecticut. That's where I want to fight him. That's where I'm looking to.
Rafion Stotts, he walked in that cage and looked around, and he was looking at the crowd and goes, "Oh yeah, I'm going to use this one. Oh yeah, I'm going to pull them to my side," and he did.
He did quick. Look, in terms of Sabatello, he's got a fast shot. He fought slow and composed in the first round when he knew Higo was dangerous. He was able to steal the first round, I thought, by getting the takedown at the end, but it was still a close round. And then in that second round, he started, like you said, he got his back taken, he got reversed, that type of stuff. Had to deal with some adversity in that situation. I thought for sure there'd be a little bit more.
Composed.
He was composed, but I thought Higo should have pressed a little bit more with a little sense of urgency to get him out of there. Like working more of the chokes. He was content with kind of holding the position. I wanted to see a little bit more out of him in that position. The other thing, I wonder how much in his mind was, it's just 5 rounds. Am I going to get tired? I've had to make, I made weight, and there's a lot of preparation for him. For someone who has missed weight for so long, would it affect him in a 5-round fight? He wasn't sure. His weight was down. He said he felt good. He just didn't look as aggressive as I've seen him before in the past. And but in the past he didn't make weight though either. So that could be some of it as well.
That's true.
But look, now that he's out of the tournament, does he go up to 45? That's what I say with Higo. Does he go to 45? And Danny Sabatello, he's got his hands full. He's got his hands full with Rafion Stotts. Because if you think you're just going to out-wrestle him for 5 rounds,
nope.
You're going to have your hands full, my man. It's going to be.
That's true. But good.
All of these things, all this stuff being said, Danny has a gas tank.
Yes,
He's got a gas tank. And Rafion's got one too. But does he have one for 5 rounds? When Rafion fought Magomedov, it was only a 3-round fight. It was only a 3-round fight. He was tired. And he got tired. And so in this fight, I wouldn't say he got exhausted, but he got tired. And if we're gonna see things like that where Danny Sabatel is gonna have to try to push him to the point where he gets tired. Because if he doesn't, you keep him fresh and not try to push the wheel on him, and he stays fresh. He the speed of him in terms of his striking, the way he mixes up his combinations with the striking and the kicking, as well as his ability to sprawl and defend takedowns. It's gonna be a tough fight, Danny. But I think Danny's got a good chance of beating him too if he presses the pace for a hard 5 rounds, makes him work.
It's got to.
Well, that'll also slow down the striking, John. That'll slow down a little bit of the striking and the hesitation to let your strikes go when you know you're going to be taken down or potential being taken down.
True. Well, you said something about a guy named Magomedov, and he had a fight against Enrique Barzola. You got to give it to him. He fought well. I thought Barzola was fighting well. I thought Barzola was doing things really the way he needed to push the pace of the fight. But you got to give it up for Magomed. He was taking his time, and when he finally got the opportunity to latch onto the neck the right way, he hit it fast, he hit it hard, and he took that head home because there was no way Enrique was getting out of that. You saw him dropping down. He was in trouble right away. It was tight. You can't make a mistake against a good fighter. You make a mistake against a good fighter, and they catch that mistake, good chance you're going to be going home disappointed. And I know Enrique is very disappointed with what happened, but he's really shown he's a very good fighter. And just
John, that was thunder right there.
That's like shots fired.
Your
right
monitor just shook,
dude. It was like the whole building shook. It is going off. Love that.
Wow.
I just wish I was outside watching it.
I heard it go, and then I just saw your monitor shake.
Yeah, and I'm trying to act like it's not happening.
Oh, it is. It is. I agree with you, John. Barzola has nothing to be ashamed of. He made one mistake against someone who's phenomenal. And you take a look at Magomedov and who he's lost to. He's lost to 2 people. He's lost to Peter Yan, and he's lost to Rafian Stotts. Those are his 2 losses. And he's phenomenal. He's good all the way around. He's got good wrestling. His striking is very unorthodox.
He's got good striking, though. He's got a lot of spinning attacks.
Yeah.
He hits the spinning back kick very well. He's fast with it. He does the spinning back fist all the time, and you know what? He lands it. So it's not like he's he's just a stone wrestler. He will attack you in the stand-up with a lot of different techniques. You need to be very cautious and aware of what he's doing at all times. You have to watch his feet, look for the setups, because when he spins fast, and he does it well.
Yep. Yeah, he's really tough to deal with. But he's fighting someone who is tailor-made for, to be honest. Him and Mix, I don't look equally on the feet, they're probably about the same. Just stylistically, Magomedov has a different style of stand-up that catches you off guard. But in the wrestling, I'm going to go with Magomedov is a better wrestler, but the submission-wise, I'm going to go with Patchy as the better submission guy. And I think you're going to end up seeing 2 guys being forced to stand. Because Magomedov's he's going to have to be very cautious about how he gets his takedowns, where he leaves his neck. Because if you go back and watch his fight with Rafian Stotts, Rafian got his back.
That's true.
You don't want Patchy Mix on your back. And if you go back and you watch his fight with Matos, he got rocked right off the back, and he got his back taken, almost got choked out in his first fight in Bellator. That was a crazy, insane first minute and a half of that fight, and he fought his way out, stay composed because his arm was trapped when he had the neck. It was crazy. He was able to wiggle out of it and get free, and then he dominated the fight from then on. But this matchup stylistically between Patchy Mix and Magomedov, it makes for a lot of questions to be answered. Can he survive on the ground with Patchy Mix?
It makes for a fun fight.
It makes for a very fun fight. And when I looked at the Barzola in his fight, I was like, I could kind of see him be a little bit of a boring fight after he gets a takedown or 2, if he's able to just control Barzola on the ground and Barzola maybe make a mistake. It wasn't that way at all. He had a hard time getting Barzola down, and Barzola was actually taking him down pretty easily.
Barzola took him down more than he took Barzola down.
I think it's true. I think you're right, John. He did. He did a great job. Every time he lashed around, he lashed his hands underneath his ass. He lifted him, took him down.
Yep.
But in all fairness, I'm going to go back into this. And the reason why I take my experience with sparring and training with Khabib and Islam and those guys, they will give you positions because they know that's where they want to be. With Magomedov, like, it seemed like he didn't want to defend the takedown at all, because as soon as he hit the ground, he went right to the switch. He went right to a single leg. He went right to a position and then worked his way back up right from there to pressing Barzola to the fence and then either getting the takedown or making him work and hanging on him and all those things. So it almost was like, go ahead, take the easy takedown. I'm not going to fight it really. Now I'm in on your legs, or now I'm on an ankle or whatever it is from this position, and now I'm reversing it, pushing you to the fence, locking my hands, getting the takedown on you, and making you defend from there. It could have been that, could have not been that, but I were just flashbacks. Go ahead, take me down. Shit, like now I'm the one against the fence, or I'm the one on bottom. You're like,
I'm the one in trouble. Yeah.
Damn it, Jim, I'm not a doctor.
Good point.
All right, Brennan Ward versus Cassius Kane.
Like Brennan Ward came out and did what Brennan Ward does. He comes out to finish guys. If he's going to win, it's usually by a finish. He's had one decision win in his entire career. He hurt Kane multiple times in the fight, hit him with big shots. Too much power, too much wrestling ability for Kane to overcome.
Yep. Achilles Mota versus Dan Moret. I expected
great fight.
It was a great fight.
Great fight. God dang, both those guys went after it. I was shocked that Achilles Mota took Dan Moret down as many times as he did. Shocked by that.
Yeah.
And just both guys had gas tanks. In the end, Achilles was a little tired. I don't blame him. He worked his ass off in that fight. But you want to go and watch a great fight between two guys going for it, I'll watch a Dan Moret fight anytime, because he just goes for it. Yeah, he's got 2 losses in a row now. He lost to Spike Carlisle when he was winning the whole fight. Remember when he lost to Spike Carlisle? Yeah,
you're
man,
right.
great fight.
I thought his last fight was against Yamauchi.
No, that was his first fight.
No, that was his first fight. Okay.
That was his first fight. Then he fought Spike Carlisle, and Spike ends up coming away with a rear naked choke win. He choked him unconscious. But God, you got to give it to Dan, man. He just brings it. I will watch that dude anytime. Tough as nails. This was a great fight. Very close. I agree. I thought Achilles won it, but super back and forth fight. Really fun to watch.
And then one of the new young up and comers that we really like is Lucas Brennan, which is Chris Brennan's son. His dad's doing a great job with him. Lucas continues to evolve. I mean, I'd like to see a little more striking. You hear that, Chris? Huh, Dad?
No.
I would like to see a little bit more striking.
Quit
but
being
he looks
a negative, Nancy.
It's not negative. It's not negative.
You're being it. All right, let me hold on. Do you like when a fighter is smart enough to go to his strength?
I like that.
Okay, so what is Lucas doing?
I think for these lower, I don't want to look. Johnny Soto's tough, but for these lower fights, when you're still learning how to come up, this is when you should dabble a little bit more into the striking if you're learning. I get with staying with your bread and butter, but as the fights get tougher, it's going to be harder to dabble in the striking if you haven't already tried to dabble with it in the easier the fights that are not as hard.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I've watched people dabble and lose because they were dabbling.
I get it.
So
I get it.
Keep working it, and look, Lucas went to James Krause and Glory. Did a lot of training over there to really start working on his stand-up. He loved what he was taught there, loved all the people there. Great training. He goes, James Gallagher and I were the only Bellator guys over there. Everyone was from the UFC. He goes, it was almost like everyone was against us. It was great.
That's awesome.
I love it. It was great.
That's cool though.
But look, Lucas Brennan has a serious talent on the ground. And I'm going to say this right now. I've known Chris forever, and I love Chris. Chris started out at the Gracie Academy when I was there, and just phenomenal guy, great fighter. His son is a more dynamic submission fighter than his dad was.
Yeah.
Right now?
But John, it's because his dad did a damn good job with him. That's why.
Exactly.
His dad is doing a great job with him.
I'm telling you right now, I know Chris is prouder of anything that Lucas is doing than anything he ever did.
Of course.
And it's because of what Chris has done with him. And Chris has just done an incredible job of raising this kid and And the other part that Chris has been very smart with, you talked about the competition levels. There's all kinds of ways for people to do this. You can have this person that is this young stud and, we can beat anybody. And, you've seen that before in Bellator. Aaron Pico is a fine example of what can happen when you say, no, I want the big fights. I want the big money. Or you say, hey, I'll take less money and I just want to progress. I want to start off fairly slow and just progress and get better with each fight. And I'll tell you when I'm ready to take on the top level people. Yeah. Similar to what a Sean O'Malley has done with his career in the UFC. Chris has been very smart with the way he's handled his son, and it's paying off.
Yep, I agree. Look, to me, I knew that this was potentially going to be fight of the night. Pretty much the whole night. I had had a little bit of doubt. I thought the Higo and Sabatello fight would potentially be up there. That didn't happen, but Sabatello fought a smart fight. In this fight right here, Chablis and Primus brings it every single time, and Chablis is very patient. He was coming after it. Chablis is patient, but he's very clean with his strikes. Now, I trained with him for a while. I haven't never trained with Brent Primus. I've trained with Chablis. He's a stud. He's got good hands, got good boxing. He's very tight with his stuff. But he has now started to get a little bit into that George Masvidal style of the relaxation with the hands. The arms are out a little bit wider. When I sparred with him, everything was extremely tight. Elbows to the ribs. He's now loosening up, which is even more scary because now he understands me being so tense and tight is not as effective as when I'm loose and I'm just relaxed. And I'm expecting everything, just letting it flow. His sprawl, holy cow. His sprawl.
Baby. Shots fired, baby.
Oh, jeez. I can hear that.
I'm just hoping it's not hitting one of my trees.
No.
That's what it
Johnny
sounds
be out
like.
there with a ladder again, broken ribs.
Yep,
Oh, no.
I'm in trouble,
Jeez.
breaking ribs. All the broken
so
ribs
it's going to be, he was very relaxed, stuffed some takedowns, got after it. There was never a threat, really. I think Primus had some good leg kicks in there. Primus landed a couple good shots. Primus got power in his hands. I mean, he dropped Michael Chandler. And, and also with leg kicks, he got power in his kicks, and that's how he beat Michael Chandler the first time. He's dangerous, and he's good off of his back, and he's good on top. He's got good wrestling. He's a big 55-pounder. John, you know that. He cuts a ton of weight.
He
big
is.
Shoulders,
he's
big
jacked.
back.
He's jacked for 155.
Yeah,
huge arms and shoulders.
All of those things. He's a phenomenal fighter. Alexander Chablis, though, I'm telling you, people right now, I could potentially see him being the champ of Bellator and being the champ for a while if he gets into that mix. He's already in the mix now. He just beat the number 2 guy. He was number 8. He's now in that talk, in that conversation. You've got, who do we got at the top there? You got Benson Henderson.
You got Patrick now. Patrick is the champ. He's fighting Outlaw.
Yeah,
Outlaw is the one coming up. You also have Usman Nurmagomedov coming up. Benson is just a step ahead of him right now. But Benson's got a fight against Peter Queally in Dublin in September. So really, I look at it, you've got Chablis with that win, beating Primus, it moves him way up there, and it's really a kind of a thing between him and Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, but I also think if he's not going to fight probably until the winner of Benson and Queally, I could see him potentially fighting the winner of that. And to see if he gets a title shot, because you got Outlaw, and then you'll have, I don't know who you have after that.
You have Nurmagomedov. I'm telling you, he's there.
I don't know if they want that fight just yet.
Right now, you're going and doing the Johnny Eblin thing. You're saying, just a couple more fights.
I don't know if they want that fight just yet. We're
gonna find out.
If you look at Chablis, his record's 20-3. He's 21-3 now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of fights, man. I mean, and I know that Usman's he's 14-0, but he still has a little bit of room for growth. Let's slow play him a little bit. I think that's what they're gonna do with him. They're gonna slow play him a little bit longer.
We'll see.
He's in that mix. All right, let's move on to the next fight. What do you got there? So Kat Zingano versus Sorensen. Split decision. Look, I don't think it was a great performance.
No.
Unanimous
decision.
Oh, unanimous. Sorry.
Unanimous.
Horror-wise.
Yeah. She won every round.
Wasn't one of her best performances. Apparently, she hurt her knee afterwards. We'll see what happens with that. Tokov looked very impressive, as always. I mean, he's 30, I think 30-2 now.
31-2 now.
31-2 now. I just want to see him fight Eblin. That's all I want to see.
Yeah.
You know, him and Gegard. I could see him. I'd like to watch him fight Gegard as well.
Yeah.
So whoever they think, but I would like to see him fight Eblen next.
Yeah.
Sabahu Masi does what Sabahu Masi does. Sabahu Masi talks a lot of trash. He backs it up with his big hands and his big power, and he's a stud, man. I love watching him fight. I don't give a crap. Win or
because
lose.
he comes to fight.
Yep. Every single damn time he comes to fight.
But you got to give him this. Like I watched Sabah when he first went in the UFC. I'm trying to remember who his first fight. I think it was Tim Means. Mm-hmm. Tim Means was, I believe, his first fight in the UFC. And he talked a whole lot of. He was Sabah.
Yeah.
And Tim Means beat him up. And then he had a controversial fight in there. Then he got a rematch stuff. It just didn't flow for him there. He's on his course now. He understands who he is. He understands when I need to switch things up because he can. He is athletic. He's super strong. He's got a decent ground game. It's not what he relies on, but the power in his hands is an equalizer against anyone. I've seen Paul Daly hurt twice in fights. Twice. He's one of them. He got hurt by Nick Diaz long ago in one of the greatest rounds ever, and he got hurt by Sabahu Masi in another fight that had one of the greatest rounds. It was awesome. Yeah. So the guy's got power. He can equalize anything. It's just that that if it doesn't get it done within the first round and a half and he's throwing those bombs, he does slow down. Yeah. So he didn't have to slow down at all. He just absolutely waylaid Mendonca in this fight. Great win for him.
Joanne versus Lara. I thought Joanne looked good. She pressed the pace. She almost got knocked out at the end of the first round after Lara got back up to her feet. But Lara, just as the fight goes on, slows down and does not fight smart, John.
Boom,
fight
there
IQ.
you go.
She is such a talent, but she just does not fight smart. It drives me crazy. Then we got James Gonzalez versus Cody Law.
Big upset.
Huge upset.
Even though I told you before this, I said, James Gonzalez can fight. Man, I watched this guy. He's got to win against Pat Sabatini, but it was because of an injury to Pat Sabatini because, that's what a lot of people will talk about. But everyone he's fought is really tough dudes. This guy has not dodged anybody. And coming into this, he's a black belt from Matt Serra. He fights out of, Longo MMA. And he's good. He's a gamer. He will go after you. And he went after Cody Law. And he took that fight over. In the beginning, Cody had it going. He was flowing well. He took the fight over. He deserved that win. That's a great win for James Gonzalez.
I agree. Aaron Jeffries had a great knockout. Beautiful elbow, knockout. Set it all up, then the knee, and then everything else that finished up behind it. But the most technical strike that I saw all night was by Mandel Nalo.
Oh yeah,
just
set it
shuffled
up
this
and
beautifully.
Spanked it.
Beautifully, right on target. He just basically slid his feet back right out of range, planted his feet,
Step
and then
forward,
threw the straight right hand. Bink. Fight was over. Absolutely amazing. Bryce Logan hit the ground face down, ass up, then rolled to his back and he didn't even roll back to his back. He rolled back to his belly. He rolled over, just turned all the way away and just got up and walked to his corner because he knew the fight was over. It was that quick.
But my driver to take me back to the airport, he goes, "Oh, that fight was stopped way too fast." I go, "Did you see how he fell?" I go, "Did you see him arguing at all?" I go, "When someone goes face down, ass up, probably not a bad stoppage."
And the other thing is he didn't even argue with the ref. He rolled all the way over.
Looked over. He actually looked over at Nalo and goes, "Great shot, dude."
Yeah. It's like, He's just like, shit, it was over, quick, done. I mean, I don't even know if he realized how much time had lapsed between the time that he had walked to his corner. It wasn't much, but he already knew the fight was over. He knew it was over. Yeah. All right, hey, guys, well, that's going to wrap up our Bellator talk. Let's jump right into the UFC talk. Overall, there was some good fights on this card, man. I mean, I don't even want to get into the main event. You want to go top to the bottom? Let's start from the bottom and go up.
Oh, okay.
Let's start from the bottom and go up.
Switching it up.
Some of the fights at the beginning of the card, I wasn't like, but the fight that I really, really liked was TJ Brown and versus
great fight.
God,
that was later on though. Yeah.
I don't even. No, I know.
About halfway through.
I know, but to me, that was a fantastic fight, John. The fights earlier, I thought they were okay. They were good fights.
Big win by Cody Durden.
But
beautiful submission by
yes,
Mario Batista. Just absolutely gorgeous as far as how he took the back, quick with the grabbing for the rear naked choke. I thought the fight between Paiva against Morozov, tough fight. Paiva came out, he wins the first round. Morozov changes it up a little bit, wins the second round. And look, in the end, I thought he did a little bit more. I thought it was an actual good decision with him getting it. It was a unanimous decision, but he did enough.
I had Paiva win in the first round. I thought he won the first. Paiva won the first round pretty easily.
Yes, he
did.
Then
the second and the third, he just started. What's his name?
Slowing down
Morozov. He basically just changed the dynamic of how the fight was going to take place.
Yep. And
just started running away with it as Paiva slowed down. So
yeah,
good fight. But the other fight, the one I was just talking about with TJ Brown,
Nerdembeki.
I don't even know how you say his name. Yeah, I don't know.
Nerdembeki is all I know. Great fight.
Great fight. Just when you want to, if I was to take a fight and say, hey, go, this is how MMA, this is what they call mixed martial arts. This fight had everything. Had good wrestling, good submission attacks, good arm bars, triangles, had leg attacks, calf slicer attacks. It had everything. I mean, this was a great
including
fight on the
bad
feet.
dye jobs.
This is true. This is true.
It was almost as bad as Bisping and Paul Felder having matching suits and ties.
Oh,
these guys had matching hairstyles almost. Well, TJ had the mullet, so.
Yeah, one of them had. Yeah, TJ had the mullet, but I thought it was a good fight. Did you have it scored that way? Did you have it scored that way? I don't even know how you say it.
Charlotte Nerdembeki. Yeah.
Nerdembeki.
I thought it was close. It was a close fight. I thought TJ got tired. And that was he got tired from a lot of the wrestling. He got himself out of some bad spots. He came up in the top position, but he always ended up coming up and then losing it and being put back down at times. So I had no problem with the way that the fight was judged.
A little bit like that Alejandro Lara situation. Gets a reversal, gets on top, and then all of a sudden loses, gets too anxious, jumping into stuff and just getting swept or thrown over and losing balance. Like in these situations, TJ Brown did a lot of great stuff.
Yep.
But then just like I think in the last part of it, right? I think he started getting to the back and he got shook off the top and got put on the bottom. And it's like, then he scrambled it up, and then it was too late by then. But I mean, like when I talk through this whole card, that was a fantastic fight. I was like, wow, this was a great fight.
We had talked about Carlos Ulberg on our previous show, saying, look, the guy's good. Yes, he lost his first fight, but man, this guy's really got some talent, good stand-up. And he went out and he put it on Chukwi quickly. I don't understand that. They kept on saying it was a jab. It was not a jab.
No, it looked like it from the angle.
It was a check from the original
From the original angle, though, I agreed with them. I thought it was a jab, but then when I saw it from the reverse angle, it was a little like loopy left hook. What they did was he feinted the jab, and then when Njoku moved his hand forward to parry it, he came around and stepped around.
Right
a little bit of that, like how Ryan Bader does it, and Rockhold does it really well. He feints you a little bit, and as you react, he steps around and throws the hook off of it. And so he did a good job on that.
And it was a nice job of finishing.
Yeah, he had his crew there, man. He had his New Zealand Mafia there. They were all there. All of it. Did you see after he got the knockout? Izzy stands up, and as Izzy stands up, you got Volkanovski trying to get around him.
No chance of seeing anything.
All you see is Volk's head come out the side like this, and then Izzy moves, and then he goes like this way, and then he's like moves, and it was like he's like everywhere he tried to move. I couldn't see anything. It was so great.
That's what happens when you're the 145-pound champ and the 185-pound champs in front of you.
That's so great. It was hilarious. Another great fight. I thought Chris Curtis and Vieira was a great fight.
Look, I know a lot of people are going to sit there and they're going to criticize in some way that fight. I thought Adolfo Vieira fought a great fight. I thought Chris Curtis won the fight.
Yep.
I thought the action man did exactly what he was supposed to. He sprawled and brawled throughout that entire thing. Vieira wasn't really able to get that takedown ever. He kind of came close in the first one, and the beautiful whizzer by Curtis brings him up out of it. But Vieira's stand-up has gotten way better.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he was dying as much. He did slow down. You could see it, but Curtis was slowing down. They threw a lot of shots, and I thought it was very intelligent for Curtis to continue to go to the body. You got a guy like Vieira who tends to slow down, who tends to get tired. He attacked the body consistently throughout the fight. That was a very smart, intelligent move set up by him and his corner. A good win. The real question is, what are you going to do with Vieira? Do you just continue on, or is it he's got to go get win? Because is this his third loss in a row? Maybe
Vieira.
just two.
Dave, did he get a win somewhere in there? I think he got a win last.
He might have.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah. I mean, you keep him, but like I think we have continued to say. I
do think you keep him, but you've got to bring the level of competition has got to go back. You can't continue to put him in.
I don't know. This was a competitive fight. I mean, he had moments in there where it was competitive, John.
That's true.
You know, I mean, look, even though he lost, it was an unanimous decision. He lost 30-27, I think. But there was moments there where it was competitive, especially in the first round.
Yeah.
And then the fight started to get away from him. Look, people are like, oh, well, you know, he's a great jiu-jitsu guy.
He is a great jiu-jitsu guy.
If you can't
get the fight to the ground, doesn't matter how good your jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah, I honestly believe that, like you do, I think as well. We've talked about this 100 times. He cuts too much weight.
Yeah.
And it just shows that he just gets tired. He just gets tired and just slows down, drastically slows down. And he carries so much muscle for that body frame. You got to feed that muscle, man. Feed it with food. Feed it with a little bit more conditioning that gives you more oxygen to your muscles to feed that energy. I'm like, he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it after a round and a half. He just slows down so much that it makes it easy for whoever to pick him apart. 2 shots, and then just move and stick and move and get away. I think he'll be a better fighter at 205. He's going to have a hard time winning a title there, but I think he's going to be a better fighter there. More endurance. And then he'll be able to just walk around whatever, at the weight that he normally probably walks around at. So.
Yeah.
Okay, what other? So let me pull up something else. What's the rest of the card?
Oh, come on.
Oh,
come on. Come on. You can't believe
my boy, Umar. Umar Nurmagomedov. He looked good. I mean, like, really what he needed to do was get some minutes in there because he's coming off the knee surgery. It's been a long time since he's been in the cage. I think it was good for him to get some minutes in that cage. It was good for him. It was dominant position. He did a lot of good things, and he's made so much growth in terms of his grappling.
Yeah.
His ground game has gotten so much better. I mean, like, people think, because he's related to Khabib and
well, he's got that name, and so with that
last name, that all the wrestling comes with it. He wasn't a great wrestler when he first started coming into AKA at 19 years old. He was good, but he wasn't great, but his striking was really good. He's got that Taekwondo / karate style side kicks. Did you see that little hook / push kick to the face? That, I mean, like, if I tried to do that, I would throw my hip out. Like, he looked fantastic in putting his stuff together. I'd like to see him throw a little bit more of the hands after he lands the kick, because there's a little bit of 1-2, 1-1-2. I'd like to see him get a little bit more in there, but especially with these guys that he should be beating. But here he is, 15-0. What does that say?
Look,
where do we go?
The other part is you don't dismiss the guy that he dominated in this fight. Nate Maness is a good fighter. He's a tough guy, and he gave nothing to Umar as far as he never in any fashion ever conceded and was just trying to survive. He was trying to fight. He just couldn't stop what Umar was doing, and Umar did that to a good fighter. So it's impressive. He is getting better. You can see the improvements that he's making, and as he ages, he's just understanding how to fight better and better. He did a great job sometimes, especially with the way he was passing. Anytime he wanted to pass the side control, like butter, dude, like butter.
Well, he was using that. He was going 3/4 mount, and then when Maness started defending too much, he'd go right to the knee slide pass on the left side.
Yeah.
And what he was doing really well was he was elevating the elbow. So it was keeping Maness from pushing the hips away or pushing the knee away and keeping him in the half guard position. Very, very impressive. Very basic, but very effective.
Yep, but it works.
Everyone continues to think they've got to pass guard some spectacular way, when in reality, just stick with the basics and it works.
Thiago Moises looked really good. He took a big shot, but looked good in the fight. Beautiful choke. This is where you know when people talk about, oh, you can't be choked out with one arm. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it's not. Go ahead.
It wasn't one arm.
Well, it is, as far as it's one on the neck and one over the top to block, but it's a one-arm choke.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
I know what you're saying too.
But he grabbed the far side shoulder and then hugged and squeezed, and so it's yeah. But I get what you're saying. Very effective. I wasn't expecting his opponent to tap, but it was very good, and you can just tell how strong Moises is.
Yeah,
super strong. Him and Arman and Gamrot, just John. I can't tell you enough how blessed I am not to be in the 55-pound division anymore. Fuck these guys. They are they're not even built like they're built like Greek gods. All of them, all three of them. It's insane. It's insane. And you can just tell. And they're so good, so explosive, they're so well-rounded everywhere. Good striking, good wrestling, all of these things. They're phenomenal. Phenomenal. Parisian and Boudot. Boudot just gassed out, blew his wad in the first, came out in the second, had no answers for when he hit the ground. His back was on the canvas, just getting worked. Now, Shavkat versus Neil Magny.
Oh.
There wasn't a moment in there that Neil Magny was winning that fight.
Well, this is the part I thought. First off, I talked about how good Rakhmonov was. I said, look, this dude is good. Josh, take a look. Everything is a finish. He is every fight, right? We went through that. Mm-hmm. But I did think that this was a fight where he's going to have some competition. Neil Magny's going to have his little moments because Neil does his. This is going to really show how good Rakhmonov is, and it did, because he just walked through a good fighter.
Yep. Yeah, there was
not a moment that he was not in control of that fight. No. There was not a moment that he was losing. There was not a moment that you had any doubt who was going to end up coming out on top in that fight.
Yeah, he dominated. He dominated that fight from beginning to end, and I was wondering if he was going to even continue to try to go for a finish because there was no reason for him to. But as he did, and as he started working for it, I was like, oh, wow, you're really going to go for this.
And you knew.
Yeah.
Most of the time as a fighter, they're going to hear that clack.
That clack, yeah.
And there wasn't much time left. You knew how tight that choke was. Neil had to tap out at that point. Yeah. He couldn't bear through it. Nice, beautiful submission. Great fight. 2
seconds left.
I know.
When it's tight,
That's what I'm saying. When it's on, it's on.
It's on. Yeah. All right.
But who should he fight next?
Who should he fight next?
Who should Shavkat Rakhmonov fight next?
Who do you think? Khamzat Chimaev. Let's go.
Like Let's go.
Let's go. What? I don't see what the problem is.
Let's go. Someone's O has got to go.
Yeah, someone's O's got to go. Let's go.
All right.
I mean, I could see maybe like someone like a Sean Brady.
That I would love to see.
You know, because
someone like a Sean Brady. That's
somebody like someone like a Sean Brady.
That would be a great fight.
I think.
But if you're Sean Brady, you take a look. Where's Sean Brady? Is somewhere
Sean's
around
like number 7 or 8. I think somewhere in there.
9.
He's number 9, and then
okay,
now
Magny was 10.
Yep.
And Shavkat was 15, so he's going to move up.
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, does he move up above Chiesa? That's the question. And if he does, I mean, do they just switch spots, kind of that position? I don't know. But the bottom line is, can you blow that up a little bit more? My eyes, I can't see. But I like you have Stephen Thompson in there.
That's
so
big. Thank you very much.
I'd like to see Sean Brady fight Stephen Thompson. I could also see Shavkat fight Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque coming off someone who was able to wrestle him, Bilal Muhammad. Maybe you have Shavkat fight him. I'd like to see Vicente Luque. Yeah, maybe the Chiesa fight. I want to see Sean Brady fight someone like Vicente Luque or Stephen Thompson. I want to see that fight. But I can get behind the Shavkat fight as well. Good stuff.
Okay.
All right, let's go back. Let's talk to the main event.
Gamrot versus Tsarukyan. All right, for everyone out there, I want you to do me a favor. If you're a smoker, if you're a vapor, I want you to get off of that nasty habit, something that's going to cause you health problems, shorten your life, and take you away from your loved ones. I want you to go to Breathe Fume, FUM/weighing in. Go to Breathe Fume. Breathe Fume is a product that will help you become a healthier person. If you've got that hand-to-mouth habit that every smoker or vapor has, this will replace the smoking and the vaping with a healthy essential oil that is good for you, good for everyone around you. You can do it anywhere, when you're driving your kids in the car, on a plane, on a train, doesn't matter. You can use Fume everywhere. It will make you healthy. Go to Breathe Fume/weighing in. Use the promo code weighing in and get 10% off one of the greatest products to make you healthy and get you off of that smoking and vaping. I've heard too many people complaining about this. This was a close fight, Josh. This was a super
you're going to hate
close
what
fight.
I have to say then. You're going to hate what I have to say.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
John, I was texting you.
I know you were.
So did you have Gamrot winning?
The real question for me is this. I had Tsarukyan winning the first 2 rounds.
Yep.
Third round was extremely close.
Yep.
But I had Gamrot winning it. Same as Paul Felder had Gamrot coming back and winning it. Yep. The questionable round is the 4th round.
Nope, not
in my
even
opinion.
a question.
Yes, it is, because, and this, I talk with you all the time about this.
I do.
And we can go back and forth with it. Yes, Gamrot got put on his butt with a spinning back fist, but he was also on one leg because he was kicking at the time that he got hit, and right away he goes into a grappling situation. Do you think he was that hurt by it? I don't think he was that hurt by it. And if you take a look, especially of the remainder, especially near the end of the round, he was putting some good shots on Tsarukyan. Tsarukyan was getting a little bit tired.
Yeah.
I'm okay with any way someone wants to look at it, but all 3 judges scored that fight completely the same. They all looked at it the same way. And it's that 4th round, in my opinion. The 3rd round was close, but I still think Gamrot, I thought he won that. I thought he did some good stuff in that. It's that Tsarukyan is, and I know this doesn't add up as far as it's not fair. Tsarukyan is 25 years old, and I don't think this loss means anything. That kid is freaking good.
Yeah.
And he's going to be special.
He is special right now, John. He's special
true.
right now.
Good point. He is special right now. And I don't think this loss does him any damage in any way. I think more people now look at him and go, I want to watch that guy fight again. His wrestling is freaking stellar. His stand-up, he's got power in his hands. He's fast. He moves well. He cuts angles well. I just look at it and I go, yeah, it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. But, you're going to hear people with robbery. There's no robbery in here. It was close. And I can understand how judges look at it one way when maybe, have to. Let's look at it this way. Both these guys trained at ATT. Most of their, that's where they both trained. Now, I know that Tsarukyan's training at Syndicate right now because of that whole thing. But you had guys from ATT in both corners. You had Mike Brown in Gamrot's corner. You had Bahumba. He's over in Tsarukyan's corner. And you got ATT guys going against each other here. And if you ask Bahumba who he thought won the fight, he will tell you Tsarukyan. And if you ask Mike Brown who won the fight, he's going to tell you Gamrot. And if it was reversed, it wouldn't change. They'd both say, yeah, my guy won.
Yeah.
It was that close.
Well, I sat up here last week for our midweek show, and I said Tsarukyan's the better wrestler, which he's the better wrestler when it comes to when he was fresh. As he slowed down, he was not the better wrestler. Gamrot was able to put
he did some beautiful work as far as negating the takedown at times. You go, God damn, he did that well.
Even when he was tired, he was doing a great job of negating the takedowns. I had it 1, 2, and 4 for Tsarukyan. I thought the only reason why I gave him the credit. Now, you said because he was still able to get the takedown, but it was the way that he fell that made me believe that he was hurt.
But he's on one leg.
No, you're right. And he crumbled straight down. He didn't fall backwards. He didn't fall forwards. He crumbled straight down, and Tsarukyan stepped in, and the leg was just there. He just dropped. If his body would have fell forward like he was shooting a double leg, he crumbled straight down, and that's why he was hurt. Now Tsarukyan stepped in, he was able to grab the leg, and then that's when the wrestling ended. He drove him into the fence and got the takedown. And for whatever seconds, he had him against the fence. That, and then later on, he hit him with a head kick as well. And so when I'm talking about damage,
no. In fact, that was one I'm gonna check you on this one. I want you to go back. I'll go back and look at the straight drop down.
Okay.
Tsarukyan did a beautiful spinning back kick, and it went off of his shoulder. It did not hit him in the head. It went off the shoulder.
I think I'm talking about a different kick because it wasn't spinning kick. It was a straight head kick. Yeah, it was a straight head kick. They just hit him right off the top. Hit him right off the top of his glove and his head. So, but no, that was in that round. Unless you're thinking of a different spinning one that was in a different round. I don't recall one in that round. I'm gonna go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
To go through this, but look, in no way am I saying this is a robbery. When the fights, and we've said this multiple times, because that word, just like the word the goat, okay, not the goat, but goat is thrown around. Okay, it can't be the word and it's the goat. It's like just like the word the goat is thrown around all the time. Robbery is just thrown around way too much, especially as of lately. And I loved hearing the commentary finally from from the UFC guys as well as us talking about. We learned about this. And they did a better job.
The UFC guys, I want to say that Michael Bisping, Paul Felder, even Brendan Fitzgerald, but Michael and Paul, they went to a class with officials to kind of learn, and not to learn about MMA, obviously, to learn about, this is the way the officials, what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they do it, how they differentiate, all that stuff. And I thought they did a great job of making good statements throughout their broadcast as far as, saying the right things.
Yeah.
I think it helped. I think it really helped them.
I think it does, because what it does is it keeps the sport, what's the word I'm looking for here, John? Where the sport's not in question anymore. It's not like, it keeps it. The sport's no longer like the judging and the criterias and all that stuff is now. You don't have fans at home saying, "Oh, it was robbery," and then it becomes the integrity. Yeah. There you go. That's a good word there.
Nice job there, podcast Dave.
It keeps the integrity of the sport.
I had no idea where he was going.
No, it keeps the integrity of the sport together. Now fans at home aren't going, "Oh, I fucking lost that bet because this, and this." It's rigged, and then it becomes. Especially in the fight business right now with all the betting that's going on, not just in fighting, but in sports in general, we want to make sure that we're not saying things on the broadcast that really makes people believe that this shit is rigged. Because in no way, these guys are out there laying it on the line, and this shit is difficult. Like I said last week, this shit is hard. Okay. And both of these guys, I've seen some great lightweight fights in my life. Okay, look, I'll give Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler, great fight.
You've been in some great lightweight fights in your life.
Okay, I've been in some as well. But I'm saying this to me was a spectacular, technical fight from beginning to end. And
fantastic.
I've said this from the beginning. Gamrot, but especially Tsarukyan, he is special. He will be. Yep. He is special now, and I expect him. And I said this last week. I expect him to be in that top 5 within the next year and a half, 2 years.
25 years of age, Josh.
I can't see it. I cannot see outside of some crazy nonsense happening. I can't imagine him not being in the top 1 or 2 or being champion. I can see maybe not champion only based on that. He's so young right now. I can't tell. But I expect him to be in the top 5 within a year and a half, John. He's that damn good. He's so good. A couple little tweaks here and there. A couple little bit of tweaks with the fight IQ. A couple little tweaks, in the conditioning, to help, because he used a lot of energy. He's got vicious power with them leg kicks. Holy shit. And then he's got good hands. His wrestling and his defensive wrestling. Did you see the way he defended that takedown when he tree-topped him? 3 times in the first round, he stopped that takedown with the treetop. Beautiful job. Yep. Gamrot, I didn't think Gamrot won, but I'm not mad. It's not a robbery. I thought it was a great fight. And if they want to run it back, sign me up. Pay-per-view dollars. Pay-per-view dollars.
Thank you very much. Fight. Fantastic fight between both of them.
I can't say enough about how high level that fight was. So All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. Podcast Dave's got a little bit of news, I think, for us. What do you got for us, bud?
So I'll let John chime in on his King of the Table. He
there you go.
He wanted to recap this real quick.
Look, we talk about combat sports all the time, and a lot of people will not say that arm wrestling is combat, but it is in its own fashion. It's got a lot of shit talk. It's got all the same elements that fights have. And the guy that you're looking at there, this dude, this is a silverback gorilla in a human form. This is Levon Saginishvili from Georgia, and we've got a lot of athletes coming from Georgia in MMA. This dude is a monster. He took on a guy named Devin Larratt, who is called No Limits, who is just one of the best. I used to arm wrestle in competitions, and I got beat by the guy they consider the GOAT. Is a guy named John Brezink, and Devin Larratt did the King of the Table 3 against John Brezink and beat him 6-0. And this guy beat Devin Larratt like he wasn't even there. That is impressive. That is right now the greatest arm wrestler ever, and there's no one that's come close to him, and no one right now can beat that dude. He's, I'm telling you, a silverback gorilla in human form. His freaking forearm's 20 inches.
John.
He's 400 pounds, Josh.
Josh.
He will grab your head, squeeze, and we will watch the pimple pop.
Really? Did who's the guy that lost?
Devin Larratt from
Larratt
Canada.
lost? Larratt lost?
Larratt lost.
He didn't try the over the top by Sylvester Stallone. He didn't try that.
Hold on. I want to say.
I would have done that.
I always say, man, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Devin Larratt tried to cheat in any fashion he could. He was trying to start early. He was doing everything. Did not matter. Wham! He just got crushed.
Just got to go back and watch the movie Over the Top, man. That's
Over
all.
the Top, that's it.
Sylvester Stallone shows you how to beat anybody. Anybody in arm wrestling. One of the greatest, hands down, one of the greatest movies ever to be produced. All right, what else you got for us, Podcast Dave?
Okay, I think we'll wrap up on this one, and then we'll do more in the midweek show. But Donald Cerrone stepping in short notice to face Jim Miller at UFC 276.
Hey, two old-timers getting after it. I mean,
have they not fought before?
I think they have. I believe they have. Can you pull it up there, Dave, and see what we got?
I think they have.
I think they have fought.
Same here. But, I mean, Cerrone just was ready last week for...
Yep.
What was it, 276?
It was
the UFC Austin card. It was
the one in Austin. That's right.
Yep.
And when?
Okay, they did.
2014.
Yeah, he beat Jim Miller.
Interesting. I mean, we'll see what happens. I like how Jim Miller's been looking good lately. He's coming off of a win, 2 wins. Click on Jim Miller.
Multiple. I think his last loss was to Vince Pichel.
Yeah, 2 wins. Nope. Joe Selecki.
Joe Selecki after that. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, he's coming off 2 wins. Good performances. One TKO and 1 KO. And Cerrone's coming off losses, a lot of losses, and one no contest. But I think it's like 5 losses in a row, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It depends on which Cerrone we're going to see. But he's back down to 55. He's not at 70. This is going to be one of those. Maybe this is at a catch weight.
He made weight for the Joe Lazon fight at 55.
Got it. So his weight's down probably. I wonder how much Budweiser he was drinking after that, though, after he made the weight and the fight didn't happen. So who knows? But he's in shape. He's always comes in shape. He's a legend, man. Like, this is who he is. This is what he does. He takes fight on a last minute notice. And sometimes he comes out and gets wins, and sometimes he comes out and loses. But look, these are the type of fights that I want to see him and Jim both fighting.
Yep.
As of now, they've got Joe Lazon.
I don't want to see him fighting young guys. I want to see him fighting guys that have a name, that have been there, that are close to the same age, have had the same kind of career.
I have no desire to watch them fight Gamrot or Tsarukyan.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like that. Like these guys back in their heyday, sure. I would put them against those guys any day of the week, but not now. I have no desire to see these things. So overall, good stuff. And then I heard that Miesha Tate is off the card as well. Lauren Murphy got hurt.
Yeah, that fight's off.
Yeah, that fight is off.
And it's not looking like they're finding an opponent either. So
no, it's just too short. But overall, yeah, that's next week is the pay-per-view, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
You've got Volkanovski
And
versus Max
it's
Holloway.
a good paper. Come on.
It is a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean,
Izzy and
that
Cannonier.
fight unto itself,
Yeah.
and Izzy and Cannonier.
There's one other fight on there that's a good fight.
See, hold on, and I'm being
We're going to get
honest.
into this in the midweek
I
show.
take a
Yeah, I
look
get
at the Izzy Cannonier fight similar to Gegard against Eblin. You know,
Yeah.
you take a look at it, and if you're looking at it, you're going, you know, like Izzy's the guy that you got to look at and say will win that fight. You know, it's not only more experience in MMA, all those kickboxing fights and everything.
Yeah.
He's just been a fighter much longer and everything, all that experience. But Cannonier can win that sucker.
Yeah.
Cannonier's got power in his hands. You know, I ref Cannonier when he was a heavyweight and then a light heavyweight. He's got power. He had power as a heavyweight and power as a light heavyweight. He's going to have power as a middleweight. He lands one good shot. He could change that fight over into his corner real quick. I think it's a great matchup. Obviously, Izzy is special. He's a freaking monster as far as the stand-up.
Yeah,
but Cannonier's got power.
Yeah, Cannonier's got power, but does he utilize his wrestling at all to get this fight to the ground, or at least threaten it to make Izzy a split second hesitant to potentially get that shot in, that heavy power shot in as the fight goes on?
We'll see if he
That's
can do
kinda
what Johnny Eblin could do.
What Cannonier has done, though, he's fought at heavyweight, he's fought at light heavyweight, he's now fighting at middleweight. When you see somebody like that, guess what? They understand what it's like to make sure that they're in the best shape of their life at the peak moments, because he's worked so hard to get where he is now that
Yeah.
nothing scares him anymore in terms of what I got to do to push my body to the limit. Look what he's done. Look what he used to be and look what he is now. He knows what it takes to go out there and make sure that he comes in the best form that he possibly can. He will be in phenomenal shape. And the more this fight goes, it may potentially favor him because of his ability to push himself mentally, and he'll be able to push himself physically as well against Izzy. So we'll see what happens, but it does make for an interesting fight because Izzy for the longest time was calling for Cannonier. He's like, hey, you know what? I think Cannonier might be next. And then I think Cannonier came up short on a fight. And then he's got a couple more back now. But this is one of those fights that who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll talk about it in the midweek show though as well. Go to WeighingInPodcast.com. WeighingInPodcast.com. Pick up some of our merch. It's got short sleeve shirts, long sleeves, sweatshirts, and we've got coffee mugs, hoodies. We've got it all. Come in all different colors and sizes and everything. So check it out. Got the OG logo.
Did you say
Oju?
Oju? Like is that like that sauce for the French
Oju.
dip
Yeah,
sandwich?
the Oju sauce. Yeah, the Oju sauce. Yeah, we've got the OG logo. We've got the new logos up on as well. So check it all out. And John, take us away, bud.
Hey, for everyone out there, we hope you had as much fun this weekend as we did. Lots of fights, good fights coming up. We will talk about those on our show for Wednesday. We hope you have a great weekend and a great week coming up. Be kind to someone. Do something good for someone just because you can. Make their day special, and we will see you.